Imagine you are dying on a sidewalk. 40 people walk past, nobody stops. Not because they are monsters, because you are surrounded by monsters. The ordinary kind, the kind that live inside all of us. This isn't a story about cruelty. It's a story about a switch in the human brain. A switch that flips off the moment a crowd forms.
Help me!
And somewhere out there right now, someone knows exactly how to use that switch against you. Chapter 1, The Case. In 1964, a young woman named Kitty Genovese was attacked outside her apartment building in New York City. The initial newspaper reports claimed dozens of neighbors heard her screams and did nothing. A number and a narrative that later reporting complicated and partly disputed. But the core question the case raised never went away. Why does a crowd of witnesses sometimes produce less help than a single witness would? Psychologists John Darley and B. Blatton couldn't stop thinking about that question. So they built an experiment to test it. They put people alone in a room, piped in the sound of someone having a seizure in another room, and watched what happened. Almost everyone helped. Then they changed one variable. They told participants that other people could also hear the seizure. Help dropped. Sometimes by more than half. Nothing else changed. Same emergency, same sounds, same person in danger. The only difference was the belief that other people were also listening. Chapter 2, The Mechanism. There are two forces at work here, and neither one requires you to be a bad person. The first is diffusion of responsibility. When you are the only witness, the responsibility to act sits entirely on you. Add 9 more witnesses and your brain automatically, without your permission, divides that responsibility by 10. You feel less obligated even though the person in danger needs help exactly as much as before. The second is pluralistic ignorance. This once stranger in an ambiguous emergency. People glance around to gauge how serious the situation is. Everyone else is doing the same thing, glancing around, faces neutral, trying not to overreact. Each person reads the calm expressions of everyone else as evidence that nothing is really wrong. So a room full of people who are individually alarmed collectively performs calmness, and that performance convinces the whole room that this must be fine. A crowd doesn't just fail to help, a crowd actively manufactures a false signal that help isn't needed. And every person in it both broadcasts that signal and believes it. Chapter 3, The Dark Twist. Here's what most explainer videos leave out. This isn't just an accident of human psychology, it's a non-vulnerability. And vulnerabilities get exploited by anyone who understands them well enough. Study enough predatory behavior, domestic abusers, con artists, certain killers, and a pattern emerges. They don't avoid witnesses, they use them. A public argument reframed loudly as a couple fighting recruits the crowd on instinct not to intervene in something ambiguous. An abduction stage as a parent scolding a child borrows the same cover. The abuser isn't hiding from the crowd, he is using the crowd hesitation as a weapon, counting on 30 people to each privately think. Someone else will step in until no one does. This is why some of the most effective predators aren't the ones who strike in total isolation. They are the ones who understand that a crowd correctly managed behaves exactly like an empty street. 30 witnesses producing the exact same outcome as zero. The moment someone assigns responsibility to one specific person, the diffusion collapses. If you are ever in danger and there's a crowd, don't shout, "Somebody help me." Nobody is somebody. Point at one person, the one in the red jacket, the man with the umbrella. You call 911. Now that single act. That single act turning an anonymous witness, unnamed actor is often enough to break the spell that a predator is counting on. The bystander effect tells you something uncomfortable about crowds. The more people around you, the less any single one of them feels obligated to act. And somewhere someone already knows that. The question isn't whether the switch exists, it's who already learned how to flip it. Subscribe if you want to understand mechanics behind human behavior, the kind most people never notice until it's used on them.